Welcome to Kripabhavan Daily Reflections. The Lost Sheep of Israel. Introduction. The phrase "lost sheep of Israel" carries profound meaning in both historical and spiritual contexts within the Bible. Rooted in the Old Testament and fulfilled in the ministry of Jesus, it represents not just a group of ethnically Jewish people but a spiritually estranged community that God seeks to restore. Understanding this concept requires a journey through Israel's history, the prophetic writings, and the life and mission of Jesus Christ.
1. Israel, a chosen but wayward people. The foundation of the phrase begins with God's covenant with Abraham, through whom the nation of Israel was born. Israel was chosen to be a holy nation, a people set apart to reflect God's character. Exodus 19 verses 5-6. However, as the nation grew, it struggled with faithfulness, often falling into idolatry, injustice, and rebellion. After the reigns of Saul, David, and Solomon, the kingdom of Israel split into two: the northern kingdom, Israel, and the southern kingdom, Judah. The northern tribes were conquered by Assyria in 722 BC and dispersed, leading to the concept of the 10 lost tribes. The southern kingdom was later taken into exile by Babylon in 586 BC. This period of conquest and exile marked a significant turning point in Israel's identity. While some returned to the land under Persian rule, the sense of being lost, both geographically and spiritually, persisted. 2. Prophetic imagery: lost sheep as spiritually scattered. The imagery of lost sheep emerges strongly in the writings of the prophets. Jeremiah 50 verse 6 says, "My people have been lost sheep, their shepherds have led them astray." Likewise, Ezekiel 34 uses the metaphor of sheep to condemn Israel's leaders for neglecting their spiritual responsibilities. In Ezekiel, God declares his intention to become the true shepherd. "I myself will search for my sheep and look after them." Ezekiel 34 verse 11. Here, the lost sheep represent not just physically displaced people, but those spiritually misled and disconnected from God. The phrase becomes a powerful symbol of God's compassion and his plan to redeem and restore his people. 3. Jesus and the lost sheep of Israel. By the time of Jesus, the Jewish people were under Roman rule, still longing for deliverance and restoration. Spiritually, many were oppressed, marginalized, or misled by religious leaders more concerned with tradition than truth. Jesus, identifying himself as the Good Shepherd, John 10 verse 11, focused his ministry on the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Matthew 10 verse 6, 15-24. This was not a rejection of Gentiles but a strategic fulfillment of God's covenant promises to Israel. He came to gather the broken, the forgotten, and the spiritually estranged within his own people. In Matthew 9 verse 36, Jesus is described as being moved with compassion, because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. His teachings, miracles, and personal encounters demonstrated this shepherd-like mission, calling sinners to repentance, restoring the outcast, and challenging corrupt leadership. 4. From Israel to all nations. Though Jesus initially focused on Israel, his mission did not end there. After his resurrection, he expanded the scope. "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations." Matthew 28 verse 19. The apostolic mission began with the Jews, Acts 1 verse 8, Romans 1 verse 16, but spread to Gentiles, showing that the message of salvation was for all lost sheep, regardless of ethnicity. However, Israel still held a special place in God's redemptive plan, as Paul affirms in Romans 11. 5. Contemporary significance. Today, the phrase, "lost sheep of Israel," resonates on both theological and personal levels. Spiritually, it refers to anyone, Jew or Gentile, who has strayed from God's truth and needs restoration. It also calls the church to continue Jesus' mission, to seek out the lost, the broken, and the forgotten, just as he did.
Conclusion. The concept of the lost sheep of Israel is rich in meaning, tracing the journey of God's chosen people through covenant, rebellion, exile, and restoration. It is a powerful metaphor for human spiritual need and divine mercy. Through Jesus, the promised shepherd king, God fulfills his promise to seek and save the lost, not only within Israel but across the whole world.
Please like, subscribe and share to others.